Hello everyone, welcome back to Sportsbook Review's coverage of the Premier League. Just talking to the guys on the chat. Jojo Mofo says great tips from the Europa League last night. Thank you very much. Yeah, we got nothing but winners. We gave out about 7 or 8 tips, 100% record. And we also smashed it in the Champions League this week. So we're on a roll. I'm hoping that we can keep it going when the Premier League resumes this weekend. I'm Martin Green, your host. I've got Matt Lawrence alongside me. George has gone AWOL again, I'm afraid. He's gone to a wedding this time. We're going to try and pin him down next weekend so that he can give us his Premier League tips. But he did well in the Europa League this week, so we'll let him off. We're going to start breaking down the games in just a minute, but please do give us a thumbs up. I can see we've already got 13 likes, which is amazing because I've only been talking for about 13 seconds. So let's keep it going and we might get to 1 million by the end of the show. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and obviously head on over to sportsbookreview.com, the best website in the world. Some say Google. I say sportsbookreview.com, way better than Google. Okay, right, we are going to start with Newcastle versus Leeds. Fantastic game, can't wait for this. Love Newcastle, spent a couple of years living up there, very passionate football fans, but they've had a tough time of it, haven't they, in recent years? No investment in the club. They only bought Joe Willock in the summer, who they already had on loan last season. Whereas Leeds keep buying good players like Daniel James. Bit of a shaky start to the season, but I think this is where they could get a first victory. What do you reckon, Matt? How do you see this one unfolding?
Well, both teams are shipping goals and scoring goals this season. I mean, when you look at Newcastle, they're conceding over 2 goals a match thus far, and they're scoring about 2 goals every single match. And Leeds on the road have been kind of diabolical when you look at their defense. I mean, they're conceding just an enormous amount of goals. And then when you combine last year and how these two teams played, it was a 2-1 to Leeds late last season, and then it was a 5-2 to Leeds. So, I mean, this match should have goals in it for me. So I think that you can, play it many different ways. You could play both teams to score an over 2.5 route, which cashed in both appearances last time. And I think that Leeds should be able to get the job done here. But the way then when you're also looking at how stylistically these two teams want to set up, Newcastle want to sit back and hit you on the break with St. Maximum and Almiron. And that's kind of Leeds' weak link, really, is the teams wanting to play on the counterattack with them, because Leeds just bomb forward, as we know, and play so aggressively offensively. So I've just simply gone for the over 2.75 goals here at -125. I just think that there's at least 3 goals in this match, maybe even more. And yeah, I think that there's tons of ways to play it. I'd be looking towards Leeds if I wanted to play on that side as well, maybe in the draw no bet market, or even the +130 is a pretty good price. So, but yeah, just goals for me on a Friday night.
Yeah, I like that, Matt. It's hard to look past goals for me in this game. As you said, 5-2 last season and 2-1 last season. Leeds dominated possession in both games. I remember that 5-2. It was an absolute mauling. They really were very, very good in that game. Haven't played so well at the start of this season, but they've been up against tough opposition, I think. This is the sort of game where they can go to St James's Park. Newcastle's still missing a couple of important players. I think they can go there and get a win. I think they can score twice in this game because Newcastle's defence has been so poor. They've been leaking goals. But Leeds also have a bit of a defensive crisis, don't they? We saw last weekend, Llorente came off injured, and Pascal Struijk came on, got sent off straight away. They tried to appeal the red card decision, but were unsuccessful. So he's going to be out as well. Robin Koch is out injured. I don't know who's going to play. I guess you could put Ayling in centre-back and drop Dallas and play him at right-back. But either way, it's going to be a bit of a patched-up Leeds defence. So I think they could also concede in this game. Like both teams to score, like over 2.5 goals. What I went for in the end, though, was Leeds a draw, double chance, and over 1.5 goals, +150. Like that a lot.
Love that.
Yeah. There's got to be 2 or more goals in this game, surely. And yes, there's a chance that Newcastle could win, but I think Leeds are the favourites here. Did the double over Newcastle last season, and I think this is the sort of opposition that Leeds really like playing against. So that's me. Leeds draw double chance and over 1.5 goals, plus 150, 2.5, 6 to 4, whichever your preferred odds format. Let's see what everyone's saying in the chat. Yes, EAB, still wearing the England kit. I just didn't want to subject you to my Arsenal shirt today, and I was going to wear my Spain shirt, and everyone was going to say I look like Iniesta. So I just thought I'd roll with the England kit again. What's everyone else saying? Jeremiah's going for over 2.5 goals. Barcaman's also going for, I think that's Leeds and the draw double chance and both teams to score at 1.96. Like that a lot. Jojo Mofo's going over 2.5 goals. Everyone's seeing goals in this game. Barca thinks Bamford scores at any time. Agree with you there. Leeds double. Ooh, Tevin's going Leeds double chance and under 3.5 goals. JRD's going for Alex Classic. Everyone's thinking goals. We're going to be so disappointed if there's a 0-0 tonight, because 2 entertaining teams playing on a Friday night. There's got to be goals. Come on. Let's will it to happen. Okay, we must move on to Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Brentford Football Club. Brentford, newly promoted, doing great. Maybe they're the new Wolves. I was tempted. I had Brighton draw. I had Brighton draw no bet actually last weekend, and they squeaked a late winner against Brentford. So I was kind of happy with that. How do you think they'll get on this weekend, Matt, against a rejuvenated Wolves team?
Yes, Wolves finally, got off the hump really and got a W last week, and that's huge for their confidence, I think. And these are 2 teams that are tough for me to gauge right now. I think I would be saying, like when you look at Brentford, all 4 matches in the Premier League thus far have gone under 2.5 goals. So that's one way in. But the way that Wolves want to play now is completely different to how they wanted to play in the past. And I think that they want to score goals. And I think that Brentford, let's say Brentford do go down 1-0 here or something in this match. I mean, they're going to have to go for it as well. So, it's a really tricky one. It's a clear pass for me, but I don't mind, maybe like an over 2.25 here. It's at a plus price. So I think that's one way in. So if it lands on 2, you would just lose half your stake. But yeah, I mean, the Brentford having, 4 consecutive under 2.5s is kind of just keeping me off of this one.
Yeah, this is pretty much the easiest pass of the weekend for me. Just Wolves with a new manager, not quite sure what their identity is yet. Reasonably poor start to the season, although they're starting to bounce back. Brentford are a bit of a new quantity in the Premier League. Not really too sure what we're going to get from them as the season wears on. So pass and move on. Mashari Penn likes Wolves. Oh, Raylio says that Pedro Neto is the best player of Wolves. Yeah, I don't know when he's coming back. Not anytime soon. Not in time to affect this game. We're going to get to that soon. We're coming on. We're moving on. Burnley versus the mighty Arsenal. The title push starts here. We beat the mighty Norwich last weekend, 1-0. Swept them aside. Very, very good Norwich team, but they were no match for the mighty Arsenal. Next up, it is Burnley, and, build up a bit of momentum. It's the start. This is the start of the 35-game winning streak. Just checking the odds. Let's check the odds. Arsenal, 250 to 1 to win the Premier League title. Easy money.
It's too big.
Too big. Easy money. Easy money. Put your mother-in-law on it. Matt, Turf Moor, Arsenal, Burnley. We all know that Arsenal don't like it. Cold afternoons up north. Getting lumps kicked out of them by the likes of Burnley. What wins the day here? Is it the ruggedness of Tarkowski and me, or is it the sheer quality of Pepe?
So this is this is one that Arsenal really have fancied themselves on the road at Turf Moor. And Turf Moor really hasn't been, I think, sometimes like what the public really thinks it's all about in the last couple of years. A lot of big teams have been going there and picking up 3 points. Something tells me that this is an unders game. I would be looking towards under 2.5. I think it's similar to last week's Norwich match. And I believe, this is kind of like a 1-0, 2-0 to Arsenal. Maybe it's a 1-1 and Burnley scrapes something out of it. But I think that Arsenal get this job done in a 1-2-0 fashion. Gabriel was a big inclusion last week, I think. And you could see, you kept a clean sheet. That was huge. And to get him back, he's the best center half, in my opinion, on the team. Now with Ben White, so that they can form a good partnership there. New players really all across the back line right now for Arsenal. So can they gel fast enough on the training pitch this week? And I think they can. I think they pick up 3 points. I think this match stays under 2.5. For right now, it's a pass on both, but that's where I would be going.
Yeah, well, I think they probably have had a lot of time to try to gel into an effective unit on the training pitch, because they weren't playing in the Europa League, they weren't playing in the Conference League or anything like that. So it's like I've frozen there. Hopefully, you can still hear me talking. Oh, here I am. I'm back. Yeah, I think Gabriel and Ben White is going to be a strong defensive pairing for Arsenal going forwards. Arsenal are winless in their last 3 games against Burnley, actually. I think they won about 10 in a row against Burnley before the last year or so. There are mitigating circumstances, though. A lot of stupid sending offs. Was it Xhaka that got sent off in really preposterous fashion and cost Arsenal? That always tends to happen with Xhaka. But I think if they keep 11 men on the pitch, building up a bit of momentum right now, Burnley are just like Newcastle for me. Total lack of investment, chronic underinvestment in the squad leads to stagnation, could lead to a relegation battle for me this season. Yes, they've got Tarkowski, they've got me, they've got Nick Pope, got a decent manager in Sean Dyche, but I think Arsenal's superior quality could shine through here. I'm also thinking you're right with an unders game, but I just think straight Arsenal win. Odds look great. I'm going for it. Arsenal to win the title. 250 to 1. Let's do it. Right. Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. Matt's our resident in-house Liverpool fan. It's going to be interesting game. I was loving Liverpool in midweek. They did not give up. They just kept on going. Got the winner, Jordan Henderson. Put AC Milan to the sword. They're joint top of the table, 10 points from 4 games. Since Virgil van Dijk's come back, this team just looks transformed for me. I know Crystal Palace are in good form, Matt, but is there anything else but a Liverpool win in this game?
I don't think so. I think that Liverpool should get the job done here comfortably. I know that Palace, they can cause problems from time to time. I think that they just really caught Spurs at a great time after an international break last week. Red card, sending off, injuries. So I think that it all was just kind of a perfect storm, really, for Crystal Palace in that one. I think that, Virgil, he got the rest in the midweek in the Champions League against AC Milan. I think that he comes back in here. I find it difficult for Palace to score here. If I would be looking at this one, I'd be looking at like a Palace team total under. Maybe it's a Liverpool win to 0. I would be surprised to see Palace get on the score sheet here at Anfield. But here is one bet that I probably will have in pocket. Sadio Mane has scored against Crystal Palace in the last 8 matches. No player has ever scored in 9 consecutive matches against a single opponent. I think that Sadio does it. It's a good price. It's at 2.0 plus 100. Why can't Sadio Mane continue to flourish against Crystal Palace at home against in Anfield? He got a little bit of rest as well in the midweek. He came on, got about 20, 25 minutes, so he's going to be more than fresh. Sadio Mane scores and breaks that record. 9 consecutive. He scores against Palace this week.
Why not, eh? Yeah, you always get the short odds on Mohamed Salah to score at any time, but you forget that Sadio Mane often looks just as dangerous. He doesn't have the same goal scoring record, but when he plays, I always think he's a live wire. I think he really does need to find a little bit more consistency in front of goal, but yeah, he could have another fantastic season, and if the odds are good, why not go for it? JRD thinks that Burnley are going to finish higher than Arsenal this season. That's a bit harsh, JRD. Come on. Burnley Burnley finished 17th last season. I think Burnley could go down this season or finish 17th at best. Arsenal, title challengers. Don't worry about that. Liverpool Crystal Palace, I couldn't find any value on this game, to be honest. It's one of those games where Liverpool are priced at like minus 400. I can't really do much, especially when you consider that Crystal Palace have taken 4 points from their last 2 matches, vastly exceeding expectations. Just can't find the value. I think the bookmakers have priced us out of this one. Next up, we have Manchester City versus Southampton. Man City don't have a striker. Their pursuit of Harry Kane all summer long ended in disappointment. Cristiano Ronaldo chose to move to Man United, but it hasn't really affected them. They're the joint top scorers in the league with 11 goals in 4 matches, despite drawing a blank in their opener against Spurs. They just thrashed RB Leipzig 6-3 in the Champions League, scoring goals for fun, lots of amazing attacking midfielders. Coming up against the Southampton team that don't travel well, Matt. Comfortable Man City win, do you think?
I think so. I mean, this is one, again, that the books have just priced us completely out of. I don't want to get involved. I know that there was a point in time, I believe it was last season, that Southampton, they were looking good. Ings was firing, and they ended up winning and competing with Man City. But this is a different animal. Southampton are out of form to me. They're just trying to gel right now with some new faces in front of net, and Man City scoring 6 against Leipzig in the midweek. I mean, they're feeling pretty good about themselves. I think that this is like a 3-0, 4-0. I'd be looking towards Man City on the Asian handicap if I had to at minus 2.5. This is one that I really don't want to be involved with, though, whatsoever.
Yeah, I didn't put any official plays down for it, but I actually really like Man City to win to 0. I think I got about minus 125 on that. Just trying to check what the best odds are now as things stand. I think it's around minus 125, and they have actually won their last 3 Premier League games to 0. I know they were a bit, sloppy at the back against RB Leipzig, but Southampton are not RB Leipzig. And Pep Guardiola's the type of manager that will read the riot act to those defenders after conceding 3 goals. He's not going to stand for that. He's going to give them a right rollicking in the dressing room. So I think they can put in a pretty composed performance against Southampton here. I'm also thinking 3-0. So I'd be looking at Man City to win to 0. Maybe Man City over 2.5 team goals. I think there's good value there. And yeah, if you do want to give them, put a bet on them to cover the handicap spread, you're going to have to go for Man City minus 2.5. It's a bit steep, but I do think they can pull it off against a struggling Southampton team at the Etihad. Okay, next up, Norwich versus Watford. Battle of 2 newly promoted teams. I think Watford, as far as I can remember, did the double over Norwich last season, although Norwich finished just a little bit above them and won the championship. Both teams came up, and now they're playing again. Big game, Matt. How do you see this one panning out?
A tricky one again. Like you mentioned, I think Watford did take 2 victories over them last season in the championship. Both matches were tight, cagey unders. This is a complete swerve for me. I don't understand why Norwich are this kind of price. I think that, I'd be looking maybe towards Watford on the double chance here, coming off of 2 1-0 victories last season. And I mean, the thing is Norwich are pretty decent at home. I mean, they're unbeaten in 25 or 21 of their last 25 at home, but that's obviously, kind of dating back into the championship, and Watford struggle on the road. So yeah, this is one that I want to watch. I definitely want to watch this game and just try and, take some notes really and see what these 2 teams have to offer going forward, where maybe I can either pick on them or back them in the future. So yeah, I think maybe draw a line in the middle and just take the draw here, the biggest price.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting game, isn't it? It's one that neither team can afford to lose. I'm looking at both teams to score if I had to put a bet on it. I've got, 20 to 21. That's 1.95, minus 105. I think that looks like a pretty good price. Norwich haven't really got going so far this season. haven't had a chance really. They've been up against elite teams in every week of the season, especially last weekend. And yeah, Watford started well, played half a good game against Villa, and they've been pretty poor ever since. So both teams are going to want to bounce back, and yeah, I can see 1-1 maybe, or 2-1 to a particular team. Couldn't tell you who's going to win it though. Next up, two much better teams, Aston Villa versus Everton. So Everton are in terrific form. Everton are level at the top of the table with the mighty Man United, Chelsea and Liverpool, 10 points from 4 games. What a masterstroke bringing Rafa to Goodison Park was. Aston Villa, a lot of promise at the start of the season. Results haven't been great, only 1 win out of 4, but they're a decent team, Matt. I think they're the sort of team that could give Everton a game in this one.
I agree. I think this is a match where I fancy both teams to find the back of the net in this one. I think that Everton will be a good underdog here, an active underdog, and that could help really maybe push this goal line over, because I don't know who's going to win this one. It's a tricky one. I think that if Villa bring their A game, they could definitely do it here at home. But Everton have, really looked good on the counter attack. They're gonna feel at home on the road a lot this season, I think, just because of how Rafa Benitez wants to set up. They just want to sit back and hit you on the break with some of their new pacey players like Damari Gray, who's in brilliant form right now. And I know that there's no Calvert-Lewin maybe for the foreseeable future, but I think Richarlison can handle the duties there up top. And so I just think that both of these teams will score. I think this match will go over 2.5. That's where I would be looking. I would want to stay away from one of the sides here.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess PSG must be annoyed that they signed the wrong player on a free transfer. They spent all that money on Lionel Messi. They could have just signed Andros Townsend. Gets the ball, bangs it in the top corner from 35 yards out. There's no stopping this guy. All that money for Messi. Stupid. Guy right here, Townsend. Anyway, I've got no bet on this game. I think they're evenly matched. I think they cancel one another out. If I had to, once again, it's both teams to score. I don't know, there's a lot of tricky games on the card this week, and the next one's tough as well. Brighton versus Leicester. Brighton at the Amex. They're a stubborn team at the Amex. You don't lose many points there. Now the fans are back. Should be a good atmosphere. They've made a cracking start to the season, 3 wins out of 4. They're currently sitting 3 points above Leicester in the table. But, player for player, Leicester are the better team. But Leicester played in midweek. They're going to be a bit fatigued. They come up against Napoli. There's so many variables here at this point in the season. I just think, Matt, it's better to pass half of these games when you think of all the different things that could cause the result to go one way or the other.
I agree with you. For sure. This is one I'll be looking at lineups just to see what Leicester put out there. Vardy will probably start here because he didn't start against Napoli. Leicester, had a two goal lead, and Napoli ended up coming back. And I think it was a deserved draw in the end because Napoli were really putting some pressure on them. And it's one of those, I want to pick on Leicester here. This is the first Europa League week. I want to pick on them here because I'm not sure how deep Leicester are. When you look at their last 9 Premier League matches as well, both teams have scored. So Brighton are going to definitely fancy themselves getting on the score sheet here. And I would be looking towards Brighton here in the draw no bet market. I'd be looking at both teams to score here because I just think that, you can't underestimate, I guess, the Europa League match against Napoli and any Europa League match on a Thursday. Just less preparation time. That was a big match, and Brendan Rodgers played a lot of the first team there. So, I would be looking towards Brighton here at home. They rarely get beat there. So I think the draw no bet is safe. That's where I'd be going here.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Torvald is saying screams a draw for me. That sounds like a good bet, actually. I think both teams would be happy with a point in this one. Brighton to nick a point off a big team. Definite top 6 team these days, Leicester. Leicester to get a draw on the road at a place like the Amex isn't bad either. So I think you got it there. Maybe finishing all square, maybe 1-1, something like that. Sounds about right. But no official play for me there. Talking about teams that are in European action this week, next up we have the Mighty Hammers, West Ham, against Manchester United. And things did not go well for Man United in the Champions League. Mitigating factors again, Aaron Wan-Bissaka getting sent off in the first half when they're winning, and then they fell apart a bit after that, as you do when you've got 10 men on the pitch. West Ham, we tipped West Ham to go and win. They pulled it off. Congratulations to the Hammers. But they played an away game on a Thursday. They got to come back now. Antonio suspended because he got sent off, didn't he, last weekend? So, you're talking about 2 days less rest than Man United. I think this could be the game in which West Ham's unbeaten start to the season falls apart, Matt.
So United over the last year have been amazing on the road. And I would be looking towards United without, West Ham's main man there, Antonio. And that's going to be a big miss. He scored yesterday. He's in just brilliant form right now. And what a striker he is. But there's also something about me that, United didn't look very good against Young Boys. I mean, I know they were down to 10 men, and it was really due to Aaron Wan-Bissaka's red card. But if I had a bet here, Martin, and I've taken it now a couple times in a row since he's made the transfer, Cristiano Ronaldo to score any time is at minus 105 or 1.95. I would rather be on Ronaldo to score than Manchester United to win, personally. So I think that he just continues his fine form. Scored against Young Boys, scored a brace against Newcastle. He's flying right now. He's getting all kinds of chances in the box. His movement is pure, top class. Some of probably the best in the world still in terms of just his overall movement in the box area is just, it's right up there with Lewandowski right now. Those are the best two strikers for me, and with Haaland as well in the mix. But he's still got it, and I can see him definitely getting on the score sheet here. So at minus 105, it's a pretty good price. And West Ham, we saw how leaky they were against Crystal Palace. They conceded 2. So it's going to be interesting to see if Zuma starts here. When will he make his, real true debut in the Premier League? So for me, it would be looking towards Ronaldo again and just kind of riding what is working right now until it falls off.
Yeah, that's a great price, Matt, because Ronaldo was like minus 250 last weekend to score, and obviously he did score twice. Minus 105 is a terrific price on a player of his caliber when he's obviously scored in both Man United games so far. He's going to be their focal point in attack for this one. I'm just looking, I actually found plus 101 on Ronaldo to score at one particular sporting index, which just looks amazing. Everyone in the chat's giggling about Young Boys. When are they going to change the name of that club? It's ridiculous. They need to change their name to Big Tough Double-Hard Men. It just doesn't work. They've got a branding problem. But yeah, no, I think Man United are going to win this game. It's just set up for Man United for me to bounce back. I really don't like opposing West Ham normally. Made a lot of money by betting on West Ham over the past year and a bit. They're a really tough team to play against, but I just think a few things are going to count against them in this game. Man United are going to be really desperate to bounce back with a win and maintain their excellent Premier League form. I can see them going down to London, getting the job done, Ronaldo scoring and leaving with all 3 points. So Man United to win, Ronaldo to score. They both look good to me. Tottenham versus Chelsea is our next game, and it's the game of the weekend. Could be the biggest game of the weekend in Europe. I know we've got AC Milan versus Juventus, which is another massive one, but Spurs Chelsea, 2 heavyweight clubs. What do you think, Matt? Have you got a particular team that you like for this one?
I do. I like Chelsea in this one. It's another road match. It's very similar to the Arsenal match a few weeks ago, and I think that Spurs kind of got found out a bit. I mean, the red card, the dire injury last week, and we just know how Chelsea can grind you out and spit you out. And I think that's what I expect here, even on the road in a hostile environment versus a rival. I just see them. They are right now in such form. Thomas Tuchel has just pressed all the right buttons. They are so compact. And then when you're looking at all they need is one chance, just find Lukaku. He's also in great form. I would be looking towards Lukaku at an anytime goal scorer as well. I think it's around 2.2, 2.3 here in this one. He's just in great form. So, but then also on the flip side too, it's been control, and top 6 matches have generally been unders, and Spurs to me look like a complete under team. I know that they got beat 3-0, but I think I can forget about that just due to the red card, the 10 men, and the injuries and whatnot. But their first 3 matches were all 1-0. I think that Nuno Espirito Santo loves to grind out matches. I think that this is a very much so a grinders match, maybe even a halftime draw in this one. Like, I just think it'll be tight for a while, but I think that Lukaku will make the difference here. And so thus I think it's a 1-2-0.
Yeah, I was just looking at. Yeah, I was just looking at the. Sorry, there was a bit of a lag time there with my feed. I was just looking at the head-to-heads, and in the Premier League, Chelsea have dominated Spurs in recent years. It's what is it? 5 wins and a draw in their last 6 games. 4 of them have gone under, so they are normally involved in a lot of low-scoring games. So, yeah, you would think that Chelsea, they're a very settled, composed team coming up against the Spurs side that are perhaps trying to still find their identity under Nuno. A low-scoring Chelsea win here does look good. What are the odds on Chelsea to win this one? Decent price on Chelsea. Even better if you stick in an under 3.5 or an under 4.5 or something like that. I'm not betting on it. I'm always a little bit nervous about Spurs at home, but I'm definitely leaning towards Chelsea with you there, Matt. Don't know who to cheer on. Hard. It's like Sophie's choice. Okay. Esteban, could you please bring up the picks and we'll read out what we're going for. Okay, I've got Leeds and the draw, double chance, and over 1.5 goals in the match at odds of plus 150. I'm going for a straight win for Arsenal at plus 110 and a straight win for Manchester United at minus 113.
Yes, and I'm going for Leeds Newcastle over 2 3/4 goals at minus 125. So if it lands on 3, we'll win half of our stake there. Chelsea at minus 115 to beat Spurs on the road, and Chelsea Spurs under 2.5 at minus 125. I think it's low scoring, controlled. But don't forget about the anytime goal scores. Mane going for a record. Lukaku, Ronaldo, they're all in fine form. That's where I'd be looking this week on some anytime goal scores.
Indeed, and obviously the mighty Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Don't forget about him. Okay, thank you very much, Matt. Thanks everyone in the chat. It's been great to have you all here with us. Loads of great tips I've been seeing popping up along the side. We've got 48 likes so far, 118 currently watching. So please give us a thumbs up. It's just going up now as we speak. Hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. Head on over to sportsbookreview.com for lots of great insight. You'll find picks. You'll find everything on there. We're going to be back in just under an hour filming La Liga Primera with Matt and Junior. So please do join us for that. And yeah, thank you very much, Matt. Thanks, everyone. Hope you have a great weekend full of lots of winners. Goodbye.
Thanks, Martin.